You see me now, the veteran of 1,000 psychic wars. My mind is an inferno, my stomach is a bore. Coffee. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM, broadcasting live from Site B on the 13th day of 2023, the year Dungeons and Dragons burst into flames. Just when you thought the story couldn't get any weirder or more exciting, it gets weirder and more exciting. And let's just point out that with maybe two exceptions, I'm still not aware of anybody who thinks this OGL thing that Wizards of the Coast is trying to do is a good idea. I have it on good authority from my spy who works within Wizards of the Coast that even the staff is upset about this. Lorraine will, Mrs. Cynthia Williams could be on the chopping board. Maybe Hasbro will sell them off. I don't know. But it's Friday, so it's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing news that's going on in the world that we might have missed because we've been so focused on this. Hey, did you know Jeff Beck passed away? Hey, did you know Priscilla Marie Presley passed away? Hey, did you know WizKids is making figures for D&D adventures that are like 5 years old? Like they just announced they're finally releasing the figures for Tomb of Annihilation. It's like, WizKids, Tomb of Annihilations, that's like 5 years ago, dude. Why didn't you release the figures then? Did it take you that long to get a license for the figures? And is really now a good time to be releasing figures for Tomb of Annihilation? How about just release a generic run of goblins like you did way back? I think more people would be excited about that, right? Raise your hands. Would you rather see companies like WizKids, who make the little cool plastic figures, which I absolutely love because I can't paint? But you want to see more, like blind boxes? Would you rather see more like I want to see figures specifically based upon adventure? Or remember when they did the all goblins run and the all undead run, and they were just little teeny ones, and you had like 20 different goblin models and 10 or 20 different undead models. And, I think I would rather see doing that, like February through March, player characters and NPCs. So just a bunch of vaguely generic villagers, vaguely generic adventurers, maybe 30 to 100 figs. And then, maybe all goblins and just various goblins, all undead, various undeads, all slime, various types of slimes, all orcs, various types of orcs, all, I don't know, beasts, blind boxes. I don't live them as much because, I've got 8 bears, and specific to one adventure, again, I don't know. I would rather have seen more of that. So that's in the news. WizKids is releasing figures for a module that's over 5 years old. Now, wonder how this is going to affect WizKids since they make stuff for D&D. I guess they could just say approved for use from Pathfinder and be fine, because that's the next story. So when this OGL thing started, there were 3 names that we were looking at. Well, 4 or 5 for me, but 3 major names. Everybody wanted to know what Pazio's going to do, because if any company would be affected by this, top of the hill, Pazio. Then I think we all wanted to know what the 2 major Wizards of the Coast shills were going to do. What was Jeannie D going to do? And more importantly, what was Matt Mercer and Critical Role going to do? I think that was second on the list. Third, what are the other companies? How are the other companies going to respond? And the response was, well, Critical Role still hasn't said anything. Matt Mercer still hasn't said anything. People are questioning why. It's because they are still under contract. So they really can't say anything because they have an NDA, even though that NDA expired on the 4th of this month. Jeannie D said something. She made it very clear she was canceling her association with Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond. And she urged all her followers to cancel their association and their association with D&D Beyond. Why? Because part of the OGL directly goes after Jeannie D and individuals like her. Part of the OGL that we have been seeing says you cannot make D&D music cosplays, art, stories. I mean, that's entire essay communities. Jeannie D, infamous for her D&D inspired cosplays and her D&D inspired music videos. Can't do that anymore. So yeah, Jeannie D is like, wait, that's my livelihood. So no, I'm not going to support that. Then Pazio, finally, Pazio yesterday announced Orc. Was it yesterday? Open RPG. So as we know, yesterday Wizards of the Coast said they were going to make a response to this at 3 o'clock Wizards of the Coast time, which was 12 noon my time. Nothing happened. In fact, D&D Beyond crashed due to the vast amount of people canceling their memberships and the vast amount of people sending letters of protest to D&D Beyond. The website on Twitch went down. The scheduled event was like the Twitch spirits came down and it was just like disappeared from the calendar and was replaced by a repeat of the announcement that they were doing Dragonlance. Yeah. How are those Dragonlance sales doing, by the way, Wizards? I haven't seen the Q4 reports yet, but I can't expect they're great. And the investors, such as myself, were upset. So everybody lined up waiting for this video Twitch thing for them to come out and go, and it didn't. So that was at 12. At 12:45 or 3:45, Pazio finally stepped forward. Everybody said, all right, Pazio, what are you going to do? And Pazio said, wait. And everybody's like, all right, Pazio, what are you going to do? Pazio or whatever. Pathfinder said, what are you going to do? And finally, Pazio said, all right, Wizards of the Coast, we've talked to our attorneys. We've talked to Ryan Dancy. We've talked to Brian Lewis. We've talked to the guys who wrote, the original OGL. This is what we're going to do. Pazio does not believe the OGL can be deauthorized. While we are prepared to argue the point in court and law if we need be, we don't want to have to do that. And we know that many of our fellow publishers are not in a position to do so. We have no interest whatsoever in Wizards' new OGL. Instead, we have a plan that we believe will irrevocably and unquestionably keep alive the spirit of the open game license. As we have evolved over the year, we have come up with our new language. We have changed things. We can say that, I'm paraphrasing. Pazio, OGL, Pathfinder 2.0 really kind of doesn't fall under that, even though it works in the over there. So what are we doing? We're making our own. We're asking the world to join us as we begin the next great chapter on open gaming with the release of the new perpetual and irrevocable Open RPG Creative License. The new Open RPG Creative License, or ORC for short, will be built system agnostic for independent game publishers under the legal guidance of Azura Law, an intellectual property law firm that represents Pazio and several other game publishers. Pazio will pay for this legal work. We invite game publishers worldwide to join us in support of the system agnostic license that allows all games to provide their own unique open rules reference documents that open up the individual game systems to the world. To join the effort and provide feedback to the drafts of this license, please sign up by using this form. Click. I already did. Of course I did. But here's the form. If you don't have it, where was I? In addition to Pazio, Kobold Press, Chaosium, Legendary Games, and a growing list of publishers have already agreed to participate in the Open RPG Creative License, and in the coming days, we hope to expect to add substantially to the group. I think Green Ronin also said they were going to jump on this. And so there you go. The ORC will not be owned by Pazio, nor will it be owned by any company who makes money publishing RPGs. Instead, Azura Law will be owning it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. We plan to fund a nonprofit organization with a history of open source values for our own licenses. Think Linux. Of course, Pazio will continue to publish Pathfinder and Starfinder, even as we move away from the open game license. We've got months worth of product already in the thing, so we can't change that. So we've got at least a year of Starfinder, Pathfinder stuff that's going to fall under the OGL 1 point whatever, because it's already in the book, it's already in the thing, blah blah blah. And they will hope to continue to support other game publishers for this difficult time of the entire effort. You can do your support by supporting many other companies that have provided content under the OGL. Support Pathfinder and Starfinder by visiting your local game store, subscribing to Pathfinder Starfinder, or taking advantage of discount code OpenGaming during checkout for 25% off on your purchase of Core Rulebook, Pathfinder Beginner Box Set, or the Pocket Guide. I love the Pocket Guide. I don't know where mine is. I had one, but I lost it. So here's the guide. Here's the link for the, if you want to go and use that. As of today, Kobold Press, Green Ronin. I knew Green Ronin was on there. Legendary Games, Roll for Combat, Rogue Genius Games, and other publishers working to preserve this have signed on. So people were concerned about what Kobold Press was going to do. Were they going to make their own system or whatever? And now it looks like, and people were hoping that Pazio, and Kobold would, unite their powers combined to form Captain Planet. And it looks like they did. Is there anything on the site? No. I hear a lot of good things about the Midgard setting. Nope. If you want a surprise to Kobold Crade, you can. I'm going to subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, there's nothing on their site. I checked Green Ronins. There was nothing on their site. Frog God Games has released theirs. So, yeah. All right. You know who else has jumped on the bandwagon? Modifius. They have released a 2D20 World Builders license. Welcome to the 2D20 World Builders Community Content Program. So this is basically how they're dealing with the OGL nonsense by also introducing their own. So this was the big excitement / concern regarding this problem situation. The big excitement, of course, was other companies asking for, hoping for some way around this. And when the announcement started coming out, everybody was excited. Oh, Kobold Press is going to do one. Oh, Pazio going to do one. The main concern is we're going to have 150 different teeny little OGLs and teeny little games coming out, and they won't really, get the support because, Modifius is going to have their own, and Bob and Steve are going to have their own, and Susan and Alice are going to have their own, and my cat's going to have their own, and all these little companies are going to have their own little, instead of all uniting and saying we all want to make content up under this and just to be the screw you to Wizards. And I think that's part of the thing Wizards was counting on, because this has happened before. I mean, this happened during the original OGL. This happened in the early 80s, mid 80s, when there was just tons of weird teeny little individual games coming out with their own little systems that, came and went. Anybody remember Theatrics? Anybody remember Immortal? Anybody remember Tinker's Dam? Anybody remember Ravenstar? Lady Blacklight? I can think of tons of other games, Interlock, Fusion. I mean, the only one that, was really successful, GURPS. GURPS was King of the Hill for a long time. And then, of course, World of Darkness. But World of the Darkness had their own little system. And then Cyberpunk, and then Fusion, and so I think what Wizards of the Coast is counting on is that we won't be able to unite under one or two banners. And there's people who don't trust Pazio, there's people who don't trust Green Ronin, there's people who are angry at Trollors, there's people who don't trust me. So it's just going to be the continuing bickering of all the kids, and then Wizards of the Coast is just going to go, we're still here. Come back to the D&D. We've got cookies. Frog God Games has responded. They're having a huge sale on all their OGL stuff, but they have responded by saying, well, we got nothing to say yet. Frog God Games. So here's their announcement. Same thing. They're sticking around. They appreciate the support. They'll continue to make stuff for OSR Because they make stuff for Swords and Wizardry, they make stuff for Pathfinder, and their stuff is all system neutral anyways. They just build worlds. They don't really have a system. And they're having a huge sale on drive-through for all their PDFs. Not a lot of their solid stuff is on sale, but a lot of their PDFs are. Frog God Games is probably my favorite world setting that isn't Freeport. So yeah. So Wizards of the Coast, have you announced anything yet? Here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. Wizards of the Coast released a response. The build-up. And now, here it is. About an hour ago, we got this from Wizards of the Coast. An update on the open game license from D&D Beyond staff. D&D Beyond staff, who of course have announced that they are deeply concerned about this. When we initially conceived of revising the OGL, it was with three major goals in mind: monetize D&D, monetize D&D, and monetize D&D. First, we wanted the ability to prevent the use of D&D combat from being included in hateful and discriminatory products, even though everything we've made for the past couple years is very hateful and discriminatory. Second, we wanted to address those attempting to use D&D in Web3 blockchain games. It's literally not how Web3 blockchain digital piracy works. And NFT has been making clear the OGL content is limited to tabletop role-playing game content like campaigns, modules, and supplements. And third, we wanted to ensure the OTL is for content creator, the home brewer, the aspiring designer, our playings, and the communities, not major corporations to use for their own commercial and promotional purposes. Only we get to make money off the OGL. Sorry, Genie D, you can't make OGL D&D inspired musical anymore. Sorry, Jessica Nagiri, or 90% of the cosplaying crowd. You can't make money by cosplaying as Drizzt. Driving these goals was two simple purposes. Our job is to be good stewards of the day, and two, the OGL exists for the benefits of the fans. Nothing about these principles wavered for a second, even though you released things saying to the contrary, like your number one goal was to make money, you wanted to monetize the game, and that the OGL existed for your benefit. It is why our early drafts of the new OGL included the provisions they did. The draft language was provided to content creators and publishers so their feedback could be considered before anything was finalized, even though in no place in the draft or the leaks does it say that. In addition to the language allowing us to address discriminatory and hateful conduct and clarifying what type of product OGL covers, our draft included royalty language designed to apply to large corporations attempting to use the OGL content. It was never our intent to impact the vast majority of community, even though it said in the leak the exact opposite. However, it's clear from the reaction that we rolled a one. It has become clear that it is no longer possible to fully achieve all three of these goals while still staying true to our principle. So here's what we're doing. The next OGL will contain the provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate an inclusive environment that we are trying to build and specify that it covers only content for tabletop role-playing games. That means, here we go. That means that other expressions such as educational, charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplays, VTT users, etc., will remain unaffected by any OGL update. Content already released under 1.0 will remain unaffected. Oh, now Genie D, you can cosplay. Too late. But since it says to say on your very first line contradicts your very second line. The next OGL will contain provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate the inclusive environment. Inclusive. Again, basically the reverse racism, the reverse discriminatory we've seen from them. Play our way or you're a bad person. Orcs are racist. I see them as racist. I don't see myself represented in the game. The game needs to be more inclusive. Well, we made it more inclusive. Well, I still don't like the game. You use species instead of race. That's still insulting. We will build and specify that it covers only content for tabletop role-playing games. What it will not contain is any royalty structure. It also will include the license back provision that some people are afraid was means for us to steal work. You literally said you were stealing people's work. That thought never crossed our mind. Under any new OGO, you will own the content you create. No, because it literally says on your site, anything you contribute to Wizards of the Coast becomes the property of Wizards of the Coast. It signs on every contract. Every Wizards of the Coast individual has ever said, with 2 exceptions, we own it. Also, every contest you've ever run, Wizards of the Coast, including the most recent Lego contest, said we own it. So yeah, any language we put down will be crystal clear and unrevocable to that point. The license-backed language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal their work. They don't incorrectly allege you steal your work. You literally steal their work simply because of coincidental similarities. As we continue to invest the game and that we love and move forward. All right, so here's the smoke and mirrors. Here's the backpedaling. Here's them saying, no, the OGL 1.1 isn't what we meant. What we meant to say was this. So I told you there was going to be smoke and mirrors. I told you there was going to be blame placing. I told you there was going to be, look at the new shiny thing and forget what we just said. Wizards of the Coast is counting on us forgetting the past 2 weeks. Wizards of the Coast is counting on us forgetting the past 2 years. Wizards of the Coast is counting on us to forget all the horrible things they have said about us and all the horrible things the OGL leak said. Nowhere in here, do they say, though, we're sorry. Nowhere in here do they say, yes, we made the leak, or no, we did not make the leak. Nowhere in here do they say, yes, that email came from us, or no, that email did not come from us. They do not deny anything. They do not take any blame for anything, and they do not apologize for anything. What they're saying is, no, that's not what we meant to said. No, we've never done this. Please keep using our stuff. I don't think so, Wizards of the Coast. I don't think, it could work. There could be a lot of people out there who are just going to go, see, I told you, all you OSR people were wrong. All you OGL people were wrong. We don't need an OGL. We don't need you. It's still going to be, D&D 6th edition is going to be fine and you can use it. I think they're counting on people forgetting, and I think they're counting on money. They literally said we want to monetize D&D more. They literally said our main goal is the bottom line. And the bottom line was, the 5 million people who are playing D&D at any point in time on the earth, 75% to 80% of them canceled their D&D Beyond subscription. Now, does this mean Genie D and company will jump back going, oh, okay, I can do my cosplay again? I hope not. Does this mean Pazio will go, well, I guess we don't have to do this anymore? Or does this mean Green Ronin go, oh, then I guess we can keep making stuff for 6E? I hope not. I hope people can see that this is just another, as a Wizards of the Coast shill, as somebody who has defended Wizards of the Coast multiple times, again, I will say this is not a surprise. I predicted this. I called this. Wizards of the Coast is trying to protect their bottom line. Wizards of the Coast is trying to come out of this looking good because Hasbro's going, hey, wait, money. The shareholders are going, hey, wait, money. And the fan base is going, okay, enough. Will people play 6E when it comes out in 2024? Probably. I don't think anything we're going to do or anything we say is going to prevent people from playing D&D, at least in the beginning. I think as more and more of it becomes apparent that what they said 2 years ago is actually what they're going to do, and the digitalization, more and more people will probably, go, wait a minute, the OGM was right. So this is, of course, not official. None of this is official. This is just them saying what they're going to put in the language in order to protect themselves and us. Remember, this is all about protecting us and all to make Wizards of the Coast D&D more inclusive, all to protect you from NFT crypto mining, even though that's not how NFT crypto mining data piracy works. And to make sure it's more inclusive, and to make sure that you are protected, and to also make sure that no other company can make money off of D&D besides them. Even though they're saying, oh, you can still use it, they're also saying, no, you can't. Only we can use it. They're now claiming that, even though we said live streams, cosplays, virtual tabletop, we're going to be affected. Now we're saying we're not. Now they're saying that content that was already released under the OGL 1.0 is going to be unaffected. But of course, any future content will have to fall under OGL 1.1. Genie D, please do not jump back on the D&D bandwagon. Again, this affects all of your followers, even if what they're saying it doesn't. Critical Role, please make your own fucking game. Do not fall under the D&D bandwagon. So many people, even though I vehemently hate Critical Role. I have said so on several occasions, but so many people take joy from that. And so many people have built their livelihoods. I mean, just look at any Etsy shop. ETSY. Critical Role. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. And that's just one page. There are at least 80 more pages on Etsy. So every one of these individuals will be affected by this. Even though now they're saying they won't. So, you know what? Until we see something, I don't think you're going to get anything back. First, we won't be able to release the new OGL today because we need to make sure we get it right, but it's coming. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard focused us to change your plans. There are people that are only half right. They won, and so did we. The plan was always to solicit input from the company before the date of OGL. Hey, Williams came forward and said only 40,000 people responded to the first two surveys. Survey number 1 got around 20. Survey number 2 got around 20. Survey number 3, we haven't seen the numbers yet, but 5 million people are playing D&D and you only got 40,000. That's still, a lot of people. They say they realized they did not delight the fans. Dude, no, with 2 exceptions, nobody on the entire planet thought OGL 1.1 was a good idea from the leak. You should have come out the day after the leak, Wizards of the Coast, and addressed this. But you didn't. Instead, you relied on people like me to try and clear the wreckage and make something about it. And you didn't. So going forward, is everybody going to go, oh, Wizards of the Coast, we get it. We're sorry we lost our temper. The OGGM was wrong. We're going to come back and play 60 and not play any other games. I don't know. Every 5th edition player I've spoken to, including the Southern California Dungeons and Dragons community board on Facebook, has said, no, we're done. Everybody I'm seeing on Twitter, on Facebook, on Reddit, on YouTube, no, we're done. It's just too much. Even people who 2 weeks ago were like, I love everything Wizards of the Coast does, as much as I love rainbows who poop, ice cream, and unicorns that eat Skittles or whatever it is, even the so-called sparkle trolls will go, wait, I'm done, So everybody was waiting for Pazio to step up. Everybody was waiting for Genie D to step up. Everybody was waiting for Critical Role to step up. Pazio stood up and said, let's go. Genie D stood up and said, no, dope. Sorry, that's my livelihood. That's hundreds of people's livelihood. And we're still waiting for Critical Role. Now, Critical Role has been, responding with little teeny check marks and little teeny smiles to many of the posts. But I think everybody is still hoping that Mercer will come forward and say, I'm making my own game. I can't deal with this anymore. So you tell me, listening audience, do you accept Wizards of the Coast apology? Do you accept the OGL? Do you think all these companies that have come out over the past 2 weeks and said, we're not going to take it, are going to go, oh, no, wait, look, here's the new OGL. Everything's fine. I'm not. But nobody cares about what I think. And you guys never listen to me anyways. But OGM, I told you this was going to happen 2 years ago. But OGM, you said no. I told you it wasn't going to happen 2 years ago. But OGM, you said nope. Told you it was going to happen this year. If every other third party, if even 10%, if even 10, 20, 30% of the industry backs ORC, that's huge. Will it be as big as Pathfinder versus Force? It could be bigger. Because you had Pathfinder, you had Fourth, and then you had all these Tom, Dick, and Harry OGL games. And of those, how many made it till today? How many do you still see in print? Other than Mutants and Masterminds? 1, 2, 5? Troll Lord Games. Even, Green Ronin made the age system. And the main thing they push is still, Mutants and Masterminds and the age system. For Freeport hasn't had a new update in years. Frog God Games just made supplements. They made multi-system supplements. They could just say, you know what? All our stuff now is just going to be system agnostic. We're just going to use Orc, Rapanathuk. Convert, here's generic layout using Orc. If you want to convert it to 5th, you can send away for the free conversion. Other systems, that have been affected by, came out post OGL. Lots of small games, Starfinder, Pathfinder, index card role-playing game, Fate, powered by the Apocalypse. These all started, but then they all evolved. So their statement, just like a giant lie, should have apologized and backed Orc. Well, yeah, you still can back Orc. I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to apologize. There's nothing in there. There's apologizing. It's all, oh, you misunderstood. That's not what we meant to say. We understand you're upset, but really what we meant to say was this. You just misunderstood. Notice, again, they don't say, yes, we made the leak, which they should have done within the first 48 hours. Notice in here, do they say, nowhere do they say, no, we did not make the leak. The email, yes, that email came from us. No, that email did not come from us. What about the individuals who at 3 o'clock in the morning Monday, got that weird thing, that weird contract said that they had to sign because Tanker talked about it, Roll for Combat talked about it. Now, Wizards of the Coast is saying, yes, we did that, or no, we didn't do that. No, they're saying we heard your voices, except the voices were 40,000 people out of 5 million. And if you just look across the wide swaths of the community right now, there's at least 4 to 6 lies in the statement they've put out. Ones I missed. Let's go over it again. Okay. First lie. Driving these goals was 2 simple principles. Our job is to be good stewards of the game. That's a lie. Your job is to address the bottom line and make Hasbro money. The OGL exists for the benefits of fans. You literally said the OGL exists for you to make money. The draft language was provided to content creators and publishers so their feedback could be considered before anything was finalized. So you did release that draft that people got at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though the draft says legally binding document. Now you're saying, oh no, that wasn't it. The next OGL won't contain the provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate the inclusive environment. If we think anything is racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever, a no, we can go after it and take it out. So again, they can cancel you for any reason if, Yeah, I mean, it doesn't read like an apology. It doesn't read like legally binding. It's just I expected this later today, but I told you we would expect something today. I told you yesterday they're going to do smoke and mirrors. I'm still counting on them to roll out Mercer. I mean, to roll out Crawford sometime today for the video, and to basically say the exact same things, and then to go, oh, but look, here's keys from the Golden Vault, an adventure that nobody asked for. Well, I've been talking about this for almost 40 minutes, guys. So, I mean, all I can do is keep saying the same thing. Links in the description to check out the Pazio orc and to get in on that. Links to the Modifius 2D20, links to this article, links to Frog God Games article and their sale are all in the the content down below. So I'm tossing this out there, world. Do you accept this? When OGL 2.0 becomes available, timing is a bit off. What the hell? I'll get you that Snickers and something to wash it down with. Yeah, I bet him a Snickers that they were going to do this. So yeah, thanks for donating to the super chats. I don't know where that money goes or how I can get access to it, but apparently I don't know how the monetization works, but it works. So thank you very much, Urban Universe. Yeah, but I want to make sure Pazio's lifeboat isn't called Titanic. I think we all want to see the orc before we jump on the orc. I mean, we can be very excited about the orc. That just sounds so wrong. We were all expecting Pazio, hoping Pazio would do something. Pazio's doing something, but let's face it, Pazio hasn't always been 100% copacetic, especially the last couple of years. So they've got some ill will. So right now it's, do I pack the Pazio horse or do I pack the Trollord Games horse, or do we just have hundreds of teeny little ones? I'm hoping not for hundreds of teeny little ones. I'm hoping, a lot of companies do the same thing Green Ronin and Frog God do, and just, here's a system agnostic world setting. Use it for whatever system you want. Thank you for our money. So yes, I think we need to see what the orc, yeah, that just doesn't work. We need to see what the Pazio thingy says, because Trollord Games is pretty much already in the pocket. So really, Pazio, first move is, you have made the first move in the defense of this, but now we need to see what it actually says. But anyways, links down below if you want to look into this yourself. Yeah, I mean, okay, so tossing it out there along with my next round of predictions. Do you think anybody, especially because, I mean, that chapter in there about cosplaying, that's directed right at Eugene E.D. and Jessica. Do you think they're going to go, when the new OGL 2.0, is anybody going to go, yes, I'll jump on I'll sign away my life to make product for 2.0 because I just don't have the energy to fight you in court? Or do you think people are going to go, nope, sorry, you burned the bridge, Wizards of the Coast. You've dug the hole too deep. We're done with you. Let D&D die, and let Hasbro sell it off so it can go back to being the game we love instead of this nightmare political statement you've made it. I hope for 2, but we'll see. So you let me know. Now, here's my predictions. Since the last one, I predicted that by the end of the day, Wizards of the Coast would say something. They did. Here's my next prediction. When and if they actually do a video about this, they're going to spend at least the first 10 minutes talking about keys to the Golden Vault before they actually get into this. Second, Jeremy Crawford is done. Before 2027, they will have hired the new director of creativity, and Crawford and Perkins, probably Crawford, will be gone. 3, Dungeons and Dragons 6X, June 2027. Hasbro sells Wizards of the Coast. I'm calling it. You'll see if I'm wrong. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps me immensely. Remember, the goal for 2023 is 1 billion subs, because if you got a dream ridiculous. Like, share, support. There's plenty of ways you can support me. Don't forget, every single solitary OGL 1.1 product I made for 2023, 2022 is on sale at Big Geek Emporium for 35 cents until the end of today. So if you want to get my 5-star review slime thing, notice how many people are making slime books now since I made mine. Yeah, I did it first. Just saw another guy say last night they were kickstarting a book all about slimes. And I was like, dude, I did it first. And you can get mine for 35 cents. Night of the Dire Turkey Volume 1, 35 cents. The Minion Christmas Special, 35 cents. My big, the alternate takes to what happens when you critical roll, 35 cents. All those will go down today at the end of the day and replaced by brand new ones that are system agnostics starting sometime next week. So thank you for supporting me. Till next time, in the immortal words of Roald Dahl, I'm sure there's something more important going on in the world right now. Though for the life of me, I can't think what it is. Get off my land, you marks!